Welcome, everybody. So this is the first week of December, last month of 2024. I hope it's treating you well. I did do a check-in, and I've been getting some of the same information I've been getting for a lot of the people that I've been working with, and also for what I've been called to do for meditations. So that's always interesting when that aligns. I feel like, and I do have some notes, so I'm going to refer to those. As we move into December, there still seems to be a little bit of hazy cloudiness as far as the energy goes. So I wanted to speak specifically to what that means. So when I read for the collective, I'll read for energy and then also for events or things to look for, right? So energy, like you could have a great, you could be in the middle of having a great experience or really succeeding and having fun in life. And the energy of what I feel for the collective could feel very dense. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a hard time. You can still have an easy time and be in dense energy. When I say that energy is dense, I sometimes do feel it like a cloud that has some density to it. Like when you're going out and it's humid, feels like that. So it just feels like it's a little harder to move in space, right? So there are going to be days where you feel like it's really easy to get up and have the energy to go for a run, and you don't feel like you need to have coffee all day. And then there's going to be other days where you wake up and you never really feel like you're awake. So that's kind of like an energy read as far as what I feel into. So I feel like energetically, there's still a lot of haziness. I do feel that, we talk about multidimensional space, right? So I do feel that a lot of the spaces are layered over in a way that feels very dense. It's not as easy to always read just one layer these days. It feels that there's always so much in each answer that I receive for people. I'm able, like in the sessions that I do intuitively these days, I've been getting like the practical information, but I've also been getting information about like emotional stuff or past life or bloodline or there's just like there's so many different layers to things. Like the answers don't seem to be so cut and dry and simple at the moment, which I know for some people is that are used to receiving that. It can feel quite frustrating, but it just feels, that's when I say dense, it's just like there's a lot of layers right now. So energetically as a whole, when I checked in on the collective space, I feel like we are, which probably aligns to this new moon, right? Like new moon energy is always about setting intention. So I feel like we're moving from a situation and that, there might be some resistance in saying goodbye to that situation. So I don't, here's how it came through. It's like you were in something and you took it as far as you could go with it, and now it's time to move on. So it feels almost energetically like you were in a good enough relationship, maybe not a marriage, just a relationship. So maybe it was like a partnership for work or a partnership for romantic love or something. And it was good enough, wasn't exactly what you wanted. You learned some good things. You were content, right? So content is different than like happy and fulfilled. So you were in a situation that felt good enough, content. Why would I leave? Things are easy, right? And now you're getting ready to actually leave it. and that it's time to move forward. And so as you move forward, there's a lot of emotions, right? So the emotions, there could be fear, there could be excitement, there could be happiness, it could be nervousness, it could be like, what did I just do to myself? Like, why am I choosing to go the harder route when I was totally content and things were easy? So it feels like this is where collectively, like, things are okay. Not for everybody, but as a whole, things feel like we know this, we're used to this. I'm not really happy, but I know how to work with this. And now in a space collectively, we're sort of moving into a different choice where it's like, what do I really want? What is my intention? If I were to be fully fulfilled, what would that look like? And so, in order to fully move into that space, we need to take into consideration who do I choose to be in my community? What kind of community do I want to create, or what kind of community do I want to be a part of? When moving into those community spaces, you need to think about, what do you bring, right? It's not just about moving into something and receiving now. It's about doing both, right? So when we leave a space because we have outgrown it and it's content but not fulfilling, we need to go deep within ourselves to check in, to be like, well, if I wasn't fulfilled by that, but it's okay, what more would I want? What am I missing? And what is that responsibility to me? Right. So there becomes more of a self introspection. And that's how we grow, right? Like, growth doesn't happen because we decide to stay in a situation that's okay and just like have the easy road. Growth usually happens because we've decided to take a step forward and risk the fact that it may not be as good as what we had, but it might actually be better. So in that, there comes all these feelings. So right now is that moment where you have your foot up and you're about to take the big step and you just don't know where it's going to land. It also is where you're going to have the most growth, but some of that growth is going to be within. So this is where intuition and action come and they combine and they join forces. So you sort of look into, what do I want? What would make me happiest? What am I ready for? What do I want to commit to? What responsibility do I take? What have I learned? Right. So that's the self, like going into introspection, going into the self, questioning like the journey that you've gone to this far. So you know where you're at, you've done your work, you looked in your backpack, you've pulled up all those old stories, you're ready to let them go. And now the foot is moving forward. You've decided to make the choice to move forward. You have the excitement building. You don't know where you're going to land, but you're ready for that path. So this means that it's not about you anymore, that you're deciding to move on a journey with others in community. So now that you have your desire, you know what you're looking for, how are you going to pull in a group? So where are you going to bring the action step, not just for you, but into the world, into a community, into your role in that community, what you can bring to it, what responsibilities you have, and what you're hoping to receive from it, right? So when it's not about you anymore, you have to think about, not just how you will be affected by others, but how you impact them. So it's like looking in the reflection of yourself, but also now looking into the bigger whole of like, how am I a part of this? What do I want to get from this? What can I give to this? So when we start to break out of our individual selves and break into more of a community aspect, there's a lot more responsibility because we want it to have legs, right? Like we want it to support us long term. We care about these other people now. So how are you going to impact that? And what are you going to bring to that? And how does that meet your desire? So okay, so the other part of that is you need to start to look at anything, again, like going back to the backpack analogy, anything that needs to be illuminated. as we move in to December and to the solstice, it's all about bringing the light back. It's about bringing a remembrance, shining the light on something that possibly we haven't seen in a while. So how and what do you need to illuminate? And how can you be more present in this community that you're showing up for? So who's going to be in this community? What are you looking for? What are you bringing to it? Where are you hiding in your own life that needs to be seen? And sometimes that shows up when we start to become reflective to others. So when we're in the presence of others, we can start to see us when we're in a relationship with others. We actually can see parts of ourselves illuminated that we usually keep hidden. So December is really coming in with this energy of newness and moving towards those desires that we, have really wanted to always go for to bring us fulfillment and happiness. But realizing that in order to do so, we have to clean out our closets, which we've been doing for a long time. And now we're so sick of ourselves that we're like, maybe I want to play with others. Moving into that community of others and then having them shine the light on us so that now we see ourselves reflected back. And sometimes we will see parts of ourselves that were hidden for so long from ourselves that we can only see in the eyes of others. So something that's really interesting about that is, if you are already in a supported community or have some friends that you feel really trust, an exercise to do is to ask, maybe this is a group of friends that you have or a really close knit family where everybody just kind of writes something about each person in the space, and you get to read a reflection of like how other people have seen you so that you see really is what you're bringing to the world, what you think. And I know I've done this exercise in some retreats that I've attended, and I've seen it done in schools, and I think I've done it a few times when I've run the girls group for young girls. So if you have already a community of like-minded, trusted souls, then I suggest doing it. So it's really just everybody taking the time to write a note about each person in the group, something that you, how they land on you, and giving that to them as a reflection so that they can read through the notes and sort of see how others see them. Because when you start to notice how others see you, it allows you to see even a deeper part of your soul. And sometimes that's needed. It feels like right now in our space, this seems to be something that is going to be needed. Again, a lot of these messages show up each week, but they're not just for the week. They're for the time that we're living in now. So hope that helps. And if any of you have some big ahas from that, please let me know. I will do another check-in next week and read my newsletter. I'll leave some meditations in the meantime. And yeah, like and subscribe. Hope you're enjoying the check-ins and getting something out of it.